Hi everybody. Into some multi-threaded unicast API usage in Java. This is from chapter Java for Programmers. We're going to use the classic in Java. One of the things we notice is it can take a host name and a port name, but sometimes we know the address of the host. We don't exactly know what service is running. And I thought it would be fun to create a multi-threaded scanner that opened up a IP address to a socket and check openable. Yeah, I can't expect decent English from a computer engineer. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to get the internet address off of a host name described in my host's Etsy file, my Etsy host file. And then what we'll do is we'll get the port check to see if it's available. So what we're going to build is something based on the socket class. We're going to enable scans to work over different ports. And services are running. We're going to assemble a scanner that goes from port 1 to port 65,536 or 536 and 16-bit quantity, and starts bring at 1. We're not going to need server sockets for this, but it's nice sockets are available on the server and accept a connection from an outside on a specific port. So whenever we build a service, we always start with a port IP address by somehow mapping the name to an IP address using a DNS or domain name server. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scan to see available on different ports. But you might say, well, this is kind of like network hacking. And maybe in a way it is hacking. You know, this is the kind of hacking where you can sample on a Unix server, but I don't quite know what sockets are available, what ports are running, and it'd be really nice to know that. And this is one of those things where over the years on my little scanning it to see what services are running sounds like a generally useful thing to do. It's obviously running its own using something other than Java, probably C or C++. So what I'd like to do is multi-threaded process. We're describing an architect for a multi-threaded server, but I'm going to do a multi-client. And then start a whole bunch of sockets at different ports and try and see if these things can be scanned for between a client and server. So when we think about multi-threaded servers, we think about handling the accept. When we think about multi-threaded clients, we think about and connecting to it multiple times from the same IP address. That can be a dangerous thing. Your IP address could be blocked. People see it as a denial of service attack, etc. But it's no problem for me because I'm running my own server and I'm going to be able to do whatever I like, essentially. We've already seen how to build a multi-threaded daytime server, day and time server. If we can build something like a client, it's going to determine something or other about the ports. So we'll start with a port scanner, and we've got a little main address. We're not going to limit threads. We can use as many as we like. The last port we're going to scan according to the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers is 65,535. We'll start with port 1. We've got a 16-bit unsigned quantity, and we're going to use the first port and our last port with a thing called the port factory and our host. So when we look at the host name is Moon. When we use an internet address, we just map by name into an internet address called host, and that's going to port factory. So in factory, what we're seeing is first port, and it's going to generate instances of these ports for us as an enumeration. So we'll be able to get a whole bunch of ports. That's kind of an interesting idea, right? Because what you're really doing here is you're looking for these ports as elements, which you're going to something of type, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the port and you're going to try and scan it, and the scan is going to open up a socket and check to see if you can find a listener on that port. And if you can, then this will print out a listener on the host for a given, and then we can just close the socket when we're done. So that shouldn't take too terribly long, but long enough so that we might want to run several in parallel or simulating a concurrency. Although in this case, I think we'll have truly concurrent computing going on. So what we do is, and I don't know if this is going to throw you for a loop or not, but a lambda expression, which is usable And that's like a functional interface that essentially allows us to take no arguments to the run method, and we could probably make an anonymous inner class, but I'm going to try and use the lambda expression. We'll get that later. We'll do a scan for the port and a thread and start the thread. Run pretty quick because it's multi-threaded. So let's take a look. And there you go. So it turns out that on Moon, we've got ports that are listening for services on a few of the famously port numbers. For example, 20 would be an SMTP. In fact, if you like, you can go to Moon and you can see where the port numbers have been assigned to for SSH. You can see some other kind. Perhaps port 25 is in here somewheres. Here it is. There's the mail server. Let's see what else we got here. Looks like we got port 80. And we can see what port 80 is HTTP server. Let's see what else is going on. We got port 21, port 20 FTP for protocol. So we've got several different services on different ports. Let's see what other ports we. Well, here's some interesting ports. Port 110, I believe that is the post office protocol, but let's just check. And sure enough, POP3 protocol. Let's see what else we got here. Port 111, that is a remote procedure protocol from Sun. Port 143, I don't even know what that is. It's IMAP protocol. 3, sounds familiar. HTTPS. Okay, so that's the secure host protocol. Let's see, we've got a few in here. There's some 548. Let's see what that is. Nice to know what's running. Stuff was running. So 548 isn't listed here. I'm not quite sure what that might be. Oh, that Apple File Protocol. That says here he's doing 875. Not seeing 875 here. Let's do a quick search and see where that is. Cat into on 875, and looks like it's remote quota. That's probably for file system questions. See, what do we got here? 993. We'll do it again. Only 993. So there's another IMAP server. And 995. Let's try that one. POP3 secure. I didn't know I had that running. Funny what you find running here. Let's try another one. This one is 89. I have no idea what that could be. So we'll take a look. And it's WBEM HTTPS. So knowing nothing at all about it, I would probably need to maybe use the Google or something and see what that might be. So you get the idea. There are a whole bunch of services that could be running. PC, that's the back system. It automatically shut down the computer if power gets cut. And the computer itself has had a number of hours of uptime. Let's take a look. Uptime. He says it's been up 1,500 days, which it's been up 1572 divided by 365 comes to 0.3 years. So that's pretty good. And he's lightly loaded. So that's a little laptop and ports using the TCP, the socket suite in Java. Hope you like my little demo. Thank you. Bye-bye.